All right, welcome back to our next installment. So what I'm going to be showing you here is actually what the Google Slide presentation should look like as you start out. So we'll be in our drive, we click new, come on down to Google Slides, click on that, and voila, it brings up a new tab here for us. So we're just going to put in sample. Again, you're going to title it whatever you need to. We're going to come back over here to the left side. We'll click, hit enter 5-6 times to add our blank slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is going to be our starting point here. Now, the first thing that we need to do is obviously you need to have your bell ringer. And the reason why we're having a bell ringer is because for our teachers, we're going to be switching classes. We don't, per TEA guidelines, it's recommended kids should stay in the classroom. Teachers rotate to the kids themselves. And so it's just good practice as you're starting to do attendance that you have the kids engage in something instead of just actually sitting there and you're calling a name, and they're raising their hands. And again, teachers are going to have to be setting up something. So you're going to need to be ready to have that link pushed out right away to your kiddos as you walk into the classroom. And that begins with this first slide here. So we're going to have a bell ringer. Next slide that we're going to need to have is checkpoint number 1 and checkpoint number 2. Now, we're going to be moving these slides around as we add different slides. And again, we are starting off with 5, but you'll see when we get to the finished product, even though we're building in this certain order, you're going to want to go and move the slides in between. And so even though you know that you're going to be rolling out your instruction and it's going to be covering all the slides as they go through, you're actually going to want to have them mixed up. And the purpose of that is going to be is we're not going to be presenting or sharing out the presentation form. In other words, if I'm doing a typical presentation on a Google slide, I'm like this and I'm just going through and clicking through and it's a static image for the viewers, but I'm in control of it. But again, we want to make sure that the kids are engaged in what we're doing here. So this is actually going to be the viewpoint that we're going to be sharing. So if we just went chronologically through here, you're going to have kids that are going to be checking out with it. So kind of think about in the context of Fundamental 5, work in the power zone where you're zigzagging in and out of the class and the desk. Kind of the same thing here. Once you have your 20, 30 slides, whatever it is that you end up with, and we mix up and you're prompting them, scroll on down to slide number 27, and, we're going to input this. If you think back to the PBIS lesson, and I'll show you right here, I have all the different slides right here all the way down through 36. And again, I had the parking lot at the last one, but everything here in the middle is going to be mixed up. That way you're prompting your kids to go and switch back and forth. You have to think about it. For our average kiddos that we're dealing with, they're a video game tech generation. They're used to things being fast, quick, and constantly changing. So if you have your presentation and you're just going slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, you know what's going to happen? They're going to go and just scan over here. Oh, what's slide 2? Like that, and blow through it. They're not even going to pay attention to what you're doing. But if you're mixing up and having them scroll up and down, they're going to be engaged, plus gives a little bit of brain breaks as they go in between. As we know, when you have those slight pauses in between, more apt to remember the different information that's on there. So again, these slides are going to be mixed up as you are done. And then the last one that we're going to be adding right here in this step is your virtual parking lot. And again, this is going to be the one that should always end up being bumped down at the bottom. Just an easy format again. Something else works for you, great. Whatever format, just so long as you're consistent, that way you can flow through with it and it becomes part of your repertoire and how you do your delivery. But again, strongly recommend that those slides are mixed up within the slide deck itself. That way it keeps the kids kind of engaged and they really don't know what's coming next and kind of waiting for that next great hook. So in the next video, what we're going to be going to is showing you how to create the Google form that's going to be linked here to your bell ringer and your checkpoints. This is crucial for attendance, which we're going to explain in the next video. Any questions, email me. As always, don't subscribe, and rant and rave in the comments section down below.